are you someone, or do you know someone who is a former athlete and kind of lost their mojo? Their business, they want to start a business, or they have started a business, and it's something that's it's something that is not just jiving with them. Former athletes, because former athletes are high achievers, and they get that rush, and maybe an injury put them out, and that was their mojo. Now they start this business, they just don't have that same excitement. Well, if you know someone like that, or if you're like that, you're going to pay attention to this episode. If you know someone like that, you want to forward them this episode, because I'm going to introduce you to a coach that actually focuses on helping people who are former athletes rock it out in the business world. So without further ado, enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, everyone. I hope you guys are having a rockin' week thus far. Today, as I said in the pre-intro, I have the privilege of interviewing a great coach. And I don't even want to label it as that, because I think I'm doing a disjustice into her. So I am going to allow her to introduce herself. Her name is Fabienne Raphaël. How are you, Fabienne? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and I'm doing great today. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. So for those of the people who do not know who you are, please tell us who you are and what do you do?
Okay, so I'm Fabienne Raphaël. I'm an online business coach and creator of the Dream Method. So what I do is I help former pro and elite athletes monetize their expertise and leverage their sports career into a successful online coaching business.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So out of curiosity, why sports? Like what's up with that?
What's up with that? I think it's part of who I am. It's my essence. I mean, I have a background as an elite athlete. I used to play team handball for Team Canada, and I played handball for about 20 years. And even if I go back to when I was a kid, even though my mom thought I was not into sports so much, so I was doing ballet for 10 years, but just once a week, just like that. But then when I started with team handball, when this teacher came to me and said, "You seem to be skilled in sports, you should try the handball team." And I did. And since then, it was a love story with team handball. And everything that I've learned with my sports journey and all the athletes that I've met over time. And in 2019, I had the chance to be the athlete's mentor for the Pan Am Games with the delegation, the Canadian delegation. So it also gave me the opportunity to speak with athletes and learn about their stories and also talk about transition out of sports. And I realized lately by seeing some documentaries on the topic that a ton of them suffer in silence because the transition is not well supported by their organization or by their close support. So they've been identifying themselves so much with sport for such a long time that when it's not part of the equation anymore, it's as if they don't know who they are or where they fit, right? And they have this thing about purpose that has been sports for all that time. And then they got to the highest stage or they stopped because of an injury or something happened and sports is not there anymore. Then they're like, what am I going to do with my life? And as an athlete, and because I lived it, and because I've been around so many of them, there are so many things and so many skills that we develop over time. And add to that, your education, your life experience, what you've been through as an athlete, or your mindset journey. then you have everything that it takes to help others go through exactly the same things, right? With the skills that you've acquired or the education that you have. So that's why I'm so dedicated into helping athletes, because I understand them, I get them, and I know that they have a specific mindset that is very goal oriented. So whenever they put themselves into something, they do whatever it takes until it works. And that's amazing to witness.
Wow. So, as you know, this is a digital marketing show. Do you mind sharing with us how do you get the word out from a digital marketing standpoint about your services, about your coaching services?
Okay, so most of the time, like I do right now with you, I go on podcasts and I share my knowledge on different people's podcasts. So when they go into like checking my stuff or knowing what I do, then they land on my website, and then I have a sequence that they go through, and then they get to know me better. And if they're ready to take action, they do. So that's one of the things that I love doing. Another thing that I love to do is actually expand my reach by being on other people's platforms. So for example, media publications, articles written. I've collaborated a lot with Authority Magazine. I've been featured on Forbes, on Inc., on the Huffington Post, and many others. Also, I love to share my content. I mean, I have a YouTube channel and I share a lot of videos there. And I'm very active on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So basically, like I'm always showing up and sharing what I know, trying to address the main and hot topics of my audience and see how I can relate to them. And that most of the times lead to conversations and to calls, and then eventually like having people working with me. So yeah, that's what I do. And I've learned over time, because when I got started, like the first time ever I got in touch with the online world, it was back in 2010, I think 2011. And I remember that at that time, I was so intimidated that I didn't do anything about it for many years, because I had kind of like an imposter syndrome. I need to learn more. I need to do more. I need to grab this course and work with that person and whatsoever. But I realized I just had to work on myself and uncover like those limiting beliefs and understand that I have something that I can share with others, and that others are looking for that type of knowledge too, and that type of guidance. So yeah, now I have no problem showing up very regularly for my audience, because that's who I am. I love to teach and share, but also I love to connect with people at this deeper level where I can help them really transform their lives, going from, not knowing what they're doing to actually having their coaching business, welcoming clients, and, receiving great testimonials because people love what they do.
Right. So one of the reasons, so I always tell people, because sometimes people ask me, well, Frank, this is a digital show. Why do you have people who are not in the digital marketing space in there? This is exactly the reason why, because here's a person who's not in the digital marketing space, is a sports career coach, if you want, a specialty coach, if you will, for a specialty niche. But she's out there doing stuff digitally to get the word out. And that's the message that I'm trying to get. But anyway, so thanks for that. Thanks for proving me correctly here. Not that I always want to be right. And that was not,
it was not planned. We didn't talk about that before the interview.
We did that. So great. So a few questions here. I know you're a very busy person. The topic of today's episode is, how are we going to leverage your sports career into a successful coaching business? And we kind of touched on that on your intro. We kind of touched on that on the first questions. But let me ask you something. Let's say, one of the most important things is that's a huge transition change, and obviously you've done it, so you know what it's all about. So, talk more about that, like how do people have like a sense of lost identity if they can't do sports, right? I mean, that happens to even the professionals, but I'm assuming that you work with more like college athletes. Like who do you work with?
I work with former college athletes or former
Mm-hmm.
elite athletes. So people who've been through international competitions and also former pro athletes. And what they have in common, as I said earlier, and as you just said, is that when they leave sport, it's like, they're kind of lost. And I would say like one of the main reasons is because when you perform, and when you play, like, let's say the best game of your life, or you reach a goal that you've worked for so long, or you lose something and it's very intense, there's this adrenaline kick, like there's this huge flow of emotion that you feel. And after sports is gone, you're still looking to get that kick, but it's not possible anymore because the sport is not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that when I stopped playing, this is the type of feeling I was looking for in like maybe other sports I would practice. Let's say I would not play team handball anymore, but I would try to play, I don't know, I would try to go to the gym and just like, train there and look for that feeling. But it's not the same thing because, team sports and then working together as a team and then get to that goal and then get to that point. So I feel that there's a grieving season where you have to say, you know what, like I've done this, it happened, I had like great and high emotions on it. It was a great journey, but then now I have to transition into something else. It's not that it's not possible to still feel high emotions and find your purpose, but I feel like it's kind of different. So for me right now, today, I can say that whenever I witness my clients getting results or transforming their lives, I get that same type of kick, not exactly the same one, but a very intense feeling of fulfillment and of, yes, I contributed into helping someone get there. Right. So
Right.
it's just like the idea that they need to have that, wait a minute, like I've lived this for all these years. It's not going to happen anymore, but there's still a place within themselves, within what they have as gifts, as skills, as talent, to be able to transform other people's lives and still get that kick of, wow, I really helped someone getting there, and feeling like that sense of fulfillment, purpose, and being able to impact other people's lives.
Right. So tell you a real quick story, and this story is going to transition into my next question, okay, which I'm going to give you a warning. It's going to put you on the spot a little bit. So just a fair warning. So quick story. When I first started using my business, when I started running my business, I was all over the place. It was, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it. And then through a coach, I was able to create a foundational program that's going to help 99% of local businesses just explode their brand without breaking the bank. So transitions are tough. You're transitioning from a sports athlete into something else. There's got to be a framework. I'm going to put you on the spot here. You got to teach us, what is that framework that you use to do that? Because that's got to be hard, Fabienne.
Yeah, well, it is. And that's also why with like the research I've done prior to, really tackling this niche very specifically, is that I've spoken to a lot of athletes, and the majority of them who succeeded their transition were people who reached out to other athletes, helping them through the process. Gotcha. Or who got, what they were going through. So I feel, first of all, that whenever you're going through that transition, whoever you choose to work with or to guide you has to be someone very close to the athletes world, who has worked with athletes or experimented that process themselves, because I feel that it's one of the closest way for you to get to where you want to go. So usually when I work with my clients, we go through a specific framework, and it's called the DREAM method. And each of these letters, they mean something. So awesome. The D is to design your dream offer. So actually, it's great to have gifts, talents, expertise, and whatsoever. But if you don't have anything compelling, for people to be like, oh, I need to do business with Frank because he's the answer to my problem, or I've been looking for that type of experts for such a long time and I'm ready to invest. So if we don't have that dream offer, then we don't get any business, because if you don't make that sale, then it's still a hobby. Okay. So the R is about reinforcing the sales skills. So when you have someone coming in to your business, how do you take that person from a lead to becoming a client of yours? Like, how do you have to communicate with them, and how do you have to frame what you're doing in order to express that you are the only person who can help in that situation? The E is to enhance the know, like, and trust factor. And we touched a little bit on that, about specifically content creation, how to show up, how to use like your best side of things, and how you can stand out on different platforms, and how also people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So if you don't get that chance to people to get to know you a little bit better, then they might never buy from you, even if you have the best program on the planet. So you have to be aware of, wanting to share who you are, what your values are, and show up authentically, because people hate when they see someone online and then they get on the phone or they get to work with you and it's completely different. Okay. So the A is add many clients to your business with your personalized marketing strategy. And I love to say personalized because I don't know if you agree with me, but I can't stand cookie cutter strategies. Like, marketers saying, do as I did and you'll get the same exact results. Well, guess what? We're all unique and we all have specific skill sets and where we shine the most. So for me, for example, and for you, you love to do podcasting. So basically like showing up as a podcaster and sharing your knowledge there and showcasing other people like that. I mean, it gives you it gives you that authority, and it makes people, know you more and see you as an expert in your field. So for you, it's that. But for some people, maybe it's writing. For some others, maybe it's just like doing their YouTube channel. I mean, it's so different for anyone. So when I work with my clients, I like to sit and see like, what are your strengths? Where do you shine the most? And we push these strengths. I've done that mistake for too long, thinking that my weaknesses were the ones I should focus on to become better at them, instead of really recognizing what I was great at and push on these. And then, yes, eventually, like if there are some weaknesses that you could work on, you could, but then you could also add team members and hide these weaknesses with adding like great people in these weaknesses.
That's awesome.
And then,
I love that.
And then the M is to make your clients your forever fans. So the goal here is, when you get a client, I hate to think that it's a one-time deal and done, that I will never be in contact with my clients anymore. So I love to think about like ahead of the curve, how can I support my clients in a different setting or at a different level of their evolution? So for example, like if someone starts a coaching business and their program is 3 months long, after that 3 months, is it possible to keep that person, let's say, within a group that, of like-minded people, and where you still are, let's say, available for them and giving them knowledge, but then help them evolve at a different phase of their business. So I help my clients think ahead of the curve, not thinking that they always have to go get new clients, because we know that the best form of marketing, or the cheapest form of marketing, is like word of mouth. And then the people that you served already, who are ecstatic about your work and who want to come back because they don't trust anyone else, right? So we also go through that process when we work together. So that's the whole dream method.
That's awesome. That's you gave it some thought. Thanks for giving us that nugget. Question for you though. I mean, and obviously your niche is working with athletes and former athletes, etc. But do you work with anyone else who needs coaching that can benefit from that framework?
The high achiever mindset is like a requirement. So I don't work with people who always find the blame on something, someone, or anything else. So if we get on the phone and I sense that, I mean, it's a no-go for me. I think Great energy is very important in my work. And I've realized that over time. Of course, I made the mistake when I got started to work with anyone who needed help, because I was like, well, that will give me experience, but it was not always like the best experiences, because it takes a lot, it takes a lot of energy. And sometimes like these people are the less satisfied people. They always want more, right? So I would say like people with the high achiever mindset is very essential. So, and when I'm talking about high achiever mindset, I'm talking about people who are motivated by goals, who know that they have to do some type of consistent work to get to these results, people who are able to take responsibility for their actions. Because I always say, as a coach, I'm not there to save people. And sometimes like I feel that people throw themselves into working with someone because they see the lifestyle that they have, and they feel that person can save them without them necessarily putting on the work or implementing what they've learned or changing as a human being, because change is also an important part of the process. So yeah, I'm not a coach to change, to save you from where you're at. I feel that my that my duty as a coach is use all the experience that I have, all the knowledge that I have, to bring you to a higher version of yourself, and by asking you the right questions for you to take the right decisions for your business at that time. So everyone I'm working with, that's what I love. It's so different because everyone is unique and everyone has a different personality. And yeah, if you take responsibility and you follow the process, but then also with things that feel aligned with you, then you're all set to work with me.
Got it. That's awesome. So what's the website, Fabienne, where someone could read just to get to know a little bit about you, about your business? What's that website?
Yeah, it's easy. It's my name. So FabienneRaphaël.com.
Awesome. And I will drop the link to that in the show notes. I will also drop a link to her social profiles, guys. I think you should check her out. If you are into any athletics, former athlete, you find yourself swimming and saying, what's my next move? I've lost that extra edge out there, and you're looking for something, you got to look up Fabienne Raphaël, because that framework, I love it. I mean, she's got that thing down pat. I think you'll be amazed. Before I let you go, Raphaël, I'm okay. Fabienne, is there anything I did not ask you that you think would benefit the audience?
Yes. So I have something here. And it's just like, we spoke about former athletes and we spoke about the high achiever mindset.
Yes.
So I just want to share that along the way, until I got into that entrepreneurial journey and then that mindset growth myself, I realized that I never fit in anywhere. And for a long time, I thought that it was a curse or it was something that was a problem, because I always wanted to fit in. But then I realized along the way that whoever is an entrepreneur, whoever has that inside of themselves, whoever feel that they don't fit anywhere, it's because they have this unique gift that they have to share with the world, and they need, or they have to become an entrepreneur and share their brilliance in a unique way. Because blending is boring. Blending means you're average. Blending means like you don't care if it's mediocre because everyone does it mediocre. But when you're an outsider, when you don't fit anywhere, you're willing to go that extra step. You're willing to do your thing as you feel is the right way for you and what feels aligned for you. You're thinking outside of the box. You're a disruptor. You're someone who wants to change the world in a certain way. So my message here is, if you've always felt like an outsider, if you feel that where you are right now, you don't belong, then it's great news. It just means that you need to start your own thing.
Wow, that's amazing. I love blending is boring. Never heard that before, Fabienne. That is awesome. Love it. Glad I asked you that question, because I would have missed out on that and the audience would have missed out on that. Well, with that, I think I'm going to put an end to this episode. Thank you, Fabienne, for being a guest on the show. Thank you for being who you are. This has been Frank Deming, the local business guy, and you have just been blessed by the great Fabienne Raphaël. Until next week, take care, folks, and bye for now. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.